What is going on, bros? This is BDLM coming to you with my buddy J4Y for our third Brocast Breakdown. We are casting our friends yet again in the second game. Enchantress picked up. That's hilarious. What is going on, Jay?
Oh, but it's not by our good friend Bonk. Okay, I'm doing well. Obviously, our last game we focused a lot of attention on jungling, like you said before. Kind of got a feel for it. Trying to help some people out if they are having questions about that. We'll see kind of how the picks go this game. Maybe focus more attention on maybe even the support roles. Gasp! Who knows? We'll see where it goes. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. Yeah, I think it was funny. Like I started that last thing. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna talk about heroes and builds and composition, and then we just like focus on junglers like most of the game.
Nothing wrong with that.
So no, it isn't. But yeah, I was gonna say, I'm not even gonna sort of try and limit what we're gonna talk about.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So far for the picks before the game starts, we might as well. Ancient Apparition, Kunkka, Enchantress, Marana, and Nature's Prophet. Very interesting to see two heroes that you consider junglers, but such is all pick. Versus what is so far Warlock, Pudge, and the Tide Hunter. Zeus also picked up here by Orange, and fashionably late with the picks, as per usual.
Our friends love to do that, yes. And
they wait till like 30 seconds into the game, and then they'll pick the hero.
And they're most likely going to finish up here with some kind of hard carry, you would have to think. Or semi-carry at the very least, because it's going to be Tide Hunter supporting top. Or is it going to be Zeus Tide Hunter lane top? Oh, there's the hard carry. Tri-lane? Zeus tri-lane?
That would be interesting.
That'd be terrible. Let's be honest. That would be the single worst thing I would have heard of.
Yep, probably.
Okay, enough bashing.
Yeah, we're gonna see Bonk finish up with this anti-mage pick. Yeah, you can tell he's looking to go 17-0. Can be like, don't worry, guys, it balances out if you do the math.
Absolutely. Can I also? Okay, I just want to start already about Zeus's skill build, and I want to start with that just because he normally does play solo mid, or Zeus is a very common solo mid when he's picked up. But obviously in this case he's going with a duo lane where he's not as effective just because he doesn't have any kind of CC. He just has pure damage. But the most common Zeus build, you will find them go Arc Lightning rank 1 because it's very mana efficient and you can get those last hits really easily. And also, it does almost as much damage as Lightning Bolt. So it's pretty comparable. And then after that you get the... I don't know, it kind of varies here. You either go for that static field at least one rank, or you just max out Lightning Bolt. I don't know. What are your opinions of his idea to start with Lightning Bolt here?
I wouldn't do it mostly because, Lightning Bolt feels like something if you're trying to set up like a level 1 gank, like if he had his buddies sitting there in the woods and they just want to try and get an early kill, then yeah, go for it. But when you're not going to have that kind of situation, you might as well go for the more farmable spells, and Arc Lightning is definitely good for that. It's also going to help you harass the Kunkka, and it will probably chain off to this Nature's Prophet. Enchantress actually picking up the first blood. Interesting to see Prophet in the lane, Enchantress going around in the jungle helping pick up that first kill.
Can I just also say that Enchantress did exactly what I described in last game, picking up that Centaur Cod and ganking at level 2.
Okay. There you go, yeah. And look, it got first blood. Very efficient. Very good idea to do. The one thing, too, while we're talking about Zeus and we're on him, you talk about that static field. If you play Zeus and for some reason you don't like picking up static field, what you wind up doing most of the time on him, some competitively, is you get the 1 rank and Arc Lightning, and then you wait until that's the last thing you have to level up. You generally prioritize Lightning Bolt and static field. But if you don't like static field, you're against it, you hate it, you think it's dumb, at least get the rank 1. Because if you look at how it scales, it's 5% at rank 1, and then it goes up by 2% every rank after that. So that first point is more than double as effective than the points after it. So at least get the first one. The nice thing about that static field, too, is it actually kind of gives Zeus some late game potential. We were talking about the Ints last game, where they kind of fall off later. Because they don't have items that scale with their abilities. But here we see that Zeus scales with how everybody else is doing in the game. So especially those like tanky strength heroes, using that static field will help bring them down later.
Yeah, absolutely. It is 1,000 range from where he is. So basically, it hits most of the time. I guess I'll throw it out that way. When you are casting if he casts on Kunkka right now, it definitely will affect him. But yeah, so that's interesting. Obviously, we're going to see where he starts to go next. You're going to have to assume Maxing Lightning Bolt is actually, I guess, the way to go regardless, just because it's your huge damage. 350 damage is just kind of unbelievable, and it's a pretty short cooldown, 6.5 seconds. So I guess that's why he's known as the Thunderbringer.
Thank you for that. The other thing too, when you talk about Arc Lightning, 2-second cooldown. And so that's why you at least get the one rank of it, and it's kind of unfortunate not to see here. If he had that, and let's say the static field, I hope by level 3 you would pick up Arc Lightning. Every 2 seconds, you're doing 5% of the target's health, that whether the Arc Lightning hits or not.
Of their current health,
yeah, their current health. So it's just very nice to have. He isn't going to pick it up. I guess he'll hopefully pick it up by level 4.
You would want that, though.
Yeah, I mean, those two moves in conjunction are really very powerful.
Absolutely, and I mean, you can see by his attack animation, that's another reason it's picked up so early. He's one of the hardest heroes to last hit with in the game. I mean, he doesn't do a ton of base damage, and it's just like, it's like he's winding up the pitch, Like, he's like, here comes the slow ball, and it just...
I was gonna call it, like, Kamehameha from Dragon Ball Z, but then I was thinking about it's more like Spirit Bomb, where Goku's just like holding it up in the air for like 4 episodes, and you're like, dude, come on, bro.
That's like Goku's dad or something, like very much older, I would say.
Yeah, it's got a touch of gray. It's just still very comparable fighter. So there you go. They must be related.
Right, let's get off Zeus for a little bit here. We've given enough love to him for now. I kind of want to talk about how aggressive Pudge has been so far.
Oh yeah, we see him actually moving down bottom to...
He was already bottom. He ganked Enchantress while she was jungling.
Oh, very nice, yeah. See, that's the one nice thing, too. This is kind of random. If you look at the top rune spawn point, you see where that Observer Ward is now. That Observer Ward gives you vision of that Ogre Mauler. I believe it also... There's some place in the bottom jungle where you can do that, too, where you can get easy vision of one of the creep spawns. And so that's actually really useful if you're fighting against a jungler, because you'll see when they get to that position. And it's close enough that you can probably get there before they leave, so you can help put up ganks. And, a lot of the times jungle heroes are thinking, oh, nobody's going to come bother me, so they're sitting at half health most of the time anyway. So, there's always something you want to try and do, because if you can keep pressure up on a jungler, you can put them really far behind.
Yeah, I mean, as we saw in our other game with our friend, he was being aggressive as well, but he just fell so far behind when he kept getting killed, and yeah, it just really impacted the game as it went on. Invis Nature's Prophet, I don't think that's going to accomplish as much as he wants per se.
Except for the pentakill?
Except for the pentakill. I don't know how I forgot about that one. But speaking of wards, you can see where Warlock placed this one bottom. Very common, very, very, very common spot because first of all, you don't have to risk a lot to place it there. It's easy to get to, and it does provide not only vision on that rune, but if anyone coming to gank you from the woods, which is obviously very, very helpful. Actually, you see a lot of pressure going on this bottom lane. They really want to try to finish off someone. Not a very good sprout there.
It was close,
Missed the mark.
Good effort by Nature's Prophet.
There you go.
Good effort. Yeah, they probably could have killed the Warlock there, but unfortunately they did not. Let's talk about a hero we see non-stop. How about this anti-mage? We can see he's got a pretty standard build going on. He's gonna build that Vanguard most likely. On the top lane, we see that actually Tidehunter picks up a kill. I actually saw a late static field shock go halfway across the map. So seeing that's doing some good. What do you expect after this Vanguard?
I mean, there's a couple different directions you go. One of the most popular and the one I really like to see is Mantis Style. And the reason being is his images, which that creates two images of yourself that do a % of your damage, but also it carries over some abilities, including Mana Break. So those images will burn through other people's mana. And that's just why I love it so much on him. Because, of course, not only does it give also the awesome stats, like all that agility and health and whatnot, but then also, yeah, you have 2 images that do a ton of damage and burn people's mana. I mean, how
would you rather see Mana Style or the Battle Fury?
And see, that's where situational comes up. I like to make that choice Well, here's how I feel about it. If I'm in a lane, usually if I'm in like a short lane, and I have a really good support who's keeping the lane in control, then I will, instead of going in Vanguard, I just go for that Perseverance and turn it into like a Battle Fury. Mm-hmm. And then I just really ramp up my farm from there. And that's actually, you also see that in professional a lot. Like, generally, you can go Vanguard early, but the only reason you really would want to do that on a carry such as Anti-Mage is because you're in a lane where you're kind of getting harassed a lot, and it's not so easy to get the farm, so you need to be able to take hits as you're going in to get that farm. But if you are in that short lane, just like I said, if you're just like free farm, then it's not really necessary to get a Vanguard, because, I mean, who are you trying to protect yourself from, you know?
Yeah, that's the other thing, too, when you're building items, it's always important to keep in mind where other directions you can go, because like you said, I mean, you pick up that Ring of Health to go for that Vanguard, but the Vanguard itself doesn't block a ton of damage. It's really just the health and the health regen that you get from that. So we've actually seen in other games Weavers where they'll pick up the Vitality booster and they'll get the Ring of Health, and so that means they're 250 gold away from finishing the Vanguard, and then they just won't. And they'll turn the Ring of Health into something else, and they'll just sit on the Vitality booster just to get the health from it, and eventually probably turn it into like a heart or something like that towards the later portions of the game. Yeah. So it's always important to keep in mind that just because you start an item doesn't mean you have to finish it. There are many routes you can go with a lot of the individual pieces to recipes.
Yeah, I mean, I want to harp on that about the Vit booster. I mean, I've seen that happen on Ruby and Weaver so much in professional games. Like, they'll start out with a Ring of Health, and then they'll get, like, a Vit booster. And then they'll turn, like, the Ring of Health into, the Magic Resist, the Hood of Defiance or whatever. Cloak of Defiance, sorry. Or is it Hood? It's Hood.
I think it's Hood, yeah.
All right. I should second think myself, as I say.
Second thinking is very
It's really a bad idea. But no, like, yeah, he went that, and then he went Heart. And, like, you would have thought he was going Vanguard the whole time. And then he ended up getting two separate things completely. So, yeah, exactly. It's just depending, I guess, where you are in the game, how much damage you're taking as that hard carry, and then, like, just going from there.
Yeah, I'm watching in top lane. It's really funny. Like, Pledge just straight up, like, walked into Kunkka. And Kunkka just kept going. He was like, it's not a deal. I'll be fine. Why did I turn around? It's not a deal at all. The Dismember not doing a ton of damage to Kunkka. That's a really good move to hold people in place so other people can kill him. Unless, of course, it's one of those like squishy int heroes. I'm thinking of like Crystal Maiden. Even though there was one of the games in the recent tournament where Crystal Maiden got hooked like 4 times, like right off the bat, and somehow did not die to any of them. Like, wow. Got the stun off, which I'm not even sure how that happened. Got the stun off before Pudge started rotting and was able to make it out of it because of that. Crazy.
That's pretty impressive, to be honest.
Yeah.
I can't, I bet you can't wait to see a CM in a game we do this on, because there's so many directions you can go with her builds.
You will never talk that cast. People are going to think it's a solo cast. I'm going to introduce you, and then that's the last time you're going to get to speak. And then it's going to be 100% Crystal Maiden 100% of the time. If it's like a Crystal Maiden Venomancer game, then yeah, I'm just going to... You'll be sitting at like the victory screen. You'll have the little thing up and show you the score screen. I'm still going to be talking like 20 minutes far after.
Well, people will see my video. I'll just be like playing a flash game while you're discussing it.
Get up in the background.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally. Back to clicking.
Anywho, let's jump around. Do you want to jump back to the Radiant team with a hero?
I don't even know what the Radiant is. It's unfortunate to see Mirana hasn't really been able to pick up anything. I'm looking at Prophet, and Prophet is building power treads.
Oh, okay. I thought he might go for the Hand of Midas, but no.
Going for boots is the last part of it. Don't ever do that. That's my critique of that decision.
I mean,
that's all I have to say.
I'm gonna give him a little leniency in the sense that he does have teleport on a 30-second cooldown right now, so he doesn't need to move around as much. But yeah, I mean, boots are obviously a pretty big deal when you're talking about the kind of style he's playing them. Like, if he was playing just a jungle Nature's Prophet and just farming all day, then...
Yeah, I'd be okay with it then, I think.
Yeah, exactly. But since he's playing this kind of roaming ganking one, I don't know. I think I'd like to see him try to get some mobility and damage output. you know.
Yeah, I mean, you got to talk about Warlock a little bit on your cast. What do you think about how he's leveling? I mean, we were talking about upheaval not being something you would want to level up. I think it's interesting he hasn't put any points into Fatal Bonds. What do you?
This is not a build I like at all, as I probably would have made clear in my first one. Yeah, I mean, maxing out Shadow Word, I definitely approve of that. Of course, it's a nice damage over time / heal, depending on how you use it. But like I was saying before, with upheaval, I mean, it's just. It forces him to not really be a part of a fight, and that's why I don't like him. Like, he has to channel a slow in an AOE. Like, first of all, people can just move out of it after a little while, and then it's worthless. And it has a 50-second cooldown, and that doesn't even change as the game goes on. So that's kind of ridiculous. Bonk actually getting caught. Really good Warlock ult there. Might actually save him? Nope.
Yeah, you see him channeling the upheaval there. I guess that's the one thing you can say to that move's credit. I mean, I would at least get 1 point in Fatal Bonds, but once you drop Shadow Word, you drop your ulti, which you're probably going to wind up initiating with most of the time, and then you Fatal Bonds, and you really don't have anything else to do except for channel the upheaval.
Well, I mean, the auto attacks. I mean, yeah, all his moves are long cooldowns. Let's face it: 25-second Fatal Bond, 20-second Shadow Word, and 50-second upheaval, and 165 chaotic offering. So
yeah, I mean, you can also break it early to get portions of the slow off. I could see if you're like, okay, let's level it up so that I can channel it for 2 seconds, then break it, and it's so like a decent slow. But yeah, we actually just saw something that you should definitely keep in mind when you're playing a Warlock is you actually just let his pet do whatever it wanted and chase down the Ancient Apparition who just went to a tower, and then they picked up the kill on the creep and gave 100 gold to the Ancient Apparition. So, you got to keep in mind, where those creeps are and keep it around. I mean, you could have very easily farmed with that because of the immolation, that, small area burn. It's really actually useful for picking up farm. And then that would also help him push the lane and help push that bottom tower there, which we see is at 800 health.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to go back to Fatal Bonds, how really you want to pick that up. And I mean, like, if you can get a good cast and hit at least 3 people with it, it makes them all share 20% of their damage is dealt to each other. And then, if he can get at least 3 people with that and then drop his ultimate, which in itself does some damage, and it also stuns everyone, I mean, it's just throughout the fight. And it lasts a long time. You'd be surprised how long that lasts in a fight. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I feel like that's much more important than a 50-second, and he's leveling up too. Like, what's 7% more slow rate going to do compared to shared people taking damage?
Well, the thing too is, I mean, the way I'm reading it, it's not like your main target takes less damage, and then that damage is going to other people. You're going to get the full damage of the Shadow Word on somebody, and then 20% damage on another person. So you're doing 120% of your damage if it hits 2 people. Correct?
No, you're right in that. Yeah, you're right in that logic.
So yeah, I mean, you have your high damage move that's going to, at rank 1, hit 3 people, so you're doing 140% of your regular damage. So, I at least pick up the 1 rank, people.
If you're going to decide to max out people just because you love trolling on Warlock, I mean, if you pick Warlock in the first place, you're kind of trolling anyways.
Well, yeah. We actually just saw something nice from him, though, coming out. A lot of people don't like Nature's Prophet. They think he's a little OP because he can teleport all over the place. But as we've said before in one of our other casts, the one thing about him is he doesn't actually stun you. He just kind of makes trees around you. And we just saw Warlock actually before this little skirmish middle. He had some tangos on him, and so as soon as he got put in the circle of trees, he just ate one of them and continued walking. Like, he barely stopped. And so that's one of those things where if you find yourself getting pwned by the old Nature's Prophet, is just keep tangos on yourself, and he doesn't really do a whole lot after that.
He's pretty susceptible to that, you could say. But no, I'm agreeing. Also, Force Staff, another pretty strong counter, or Blink, I guess, if you have it. That's a pretty nice one as well. And speaking of that, Blink, I mean, Anti-Mage, he's been leveling. He decided to max out Spell Shield over getting more of his Blink to lower the cooldown. Your thoughts on that?
I think, I don't know. I can kind of see both. There was actually, in the recent tournament, there was a game where Anti-Mage was playing against Zeus, and he actually had to level up his spell shield first. And then he got like I think 1 point in Blink and 1 point in Mana Break, and then he leveled Mana Break. So yeah, he was kind of sitting in the same situation that Bonk is right now, where he has the 1 point in Blink. It was really to his detriment then, but Bonk hasn't had a ton of trouble down here in the bottom lane. It seems like I haven't been paying a ton of attention down here, but it seems that he's been doing pretty okay in these team fight exchanges. He hasn't needed it to get out. He's not suffering because he doesn't have the Blink. So it seems to be working out for him. And making himself tanky like that, he's one of he's really been the main melee hero in a lot of these fights in this bottom lane, so he's really going to be taking a lot of that hate.
See, here's my opinion, though, of how the fight's going. And don't worry about shoutcasting, because obviously action is going to probably happen in the next few seconds. But they started anti-mage at the bottom lane with Warlock. Warlock. But as this game's gone on, you can notice top lane has just pretty much been empty for a while, or just maybe Kunkka there at the most. And at this stage of the game, I would want my anti-mage to be focusing on farming. And where better to do that than a lane that you know is going to be fine. In worst case scenario, if it pushes, you can just go to your jungle and feel safe and farm. So I don't know. I think personally, I would like to see him kind of hop up there as soon as possible and just farm it up.
Yeah, especially right now, they have the advantage. There's no way they're going to be able to defend this bottom tower, so he should probably be like, okay, it's time for me to leave. Like, now he should certainly be going up there. But, that's kind of one of those things. It's like, in your head, like, us watching this, we know that this is probably what he should be doing. But if we were playing in this game, we'd probably be like, yeah, guys, everybody get the turret. It's so important. But as we could see, he isn't. They're not even going to get the turret from the looks of it. So really, if he had ran, he probably would have gotten more. Okay, good thing he didn't pick up the double kill, because I was going to say he could have gotten more farm in the top lane. But if he had quadra killed, everybody would have retarded.
Eaten our words pretty quickly.
Exactly. Yeah, but the creeps are up there pushing the tower too, so they would have been able to put up some pressure there. It's situational. I think, for the most part, you definitely, like you're saying, you want to try and leave the team fight to the team fight aficionados and try and get a lot of early farm if you can.
SAT word for the day, fellas.
Aficionado. Oh, here you go. Yeah, like we were saying, the Anti-Mage, he actually is going to wind up finishing this Battle Fury. He did just sit and hang on to the Ring of Health, and then he finished into a Perseverance with the Void Stone. So, hey, what do you know? We know what we're talking about from time to time.
Occasionally it works out that way. Really smart idea there. He isn't really having trouble surviving at this point in the game. He was earlier on, but now it's been pretty fine for him. And his farm has been, I'm looking at the creep score, he's 82 and 15. The next highest in the game is a 53 and 64 and 14. So that Ancient Apparition has a pretty decent farm, but besides that, he's pretty ahead. I guess I'll put it that way.
Yeah, he has 50 gold per minute higher than everybody else in the game. So, and he's been doing really well in these team fights. Helping them pick up some additional kills. So, he's doing pretty alright with it. But yeah, he did pick up this Battle Fury. I was thinking, I think my head says Battle Fury, but my heart says the Mana Style, because, you think, with Battle Fury you get AoE, but you get Mana Styles and you have 2 images attacking other creeps, so you get reduced, area damage, but you still get the ability to clear out areas of creeps faster. So I think I do like Mana Styles.
I also want to point out, here's a nice little professional tidbit. If you get affected by the Ancient Apparition, the Frozen or whatever, and if you Mana Style, I know, I'm saying it's a professional thing, and then I'm getting to think about the terminology. But if you Mana Style while it's on you, it actually clears it off.
Yeah.
So
that's
that
really
would be
cool.
really helpful against Ancient Apparition, actually.
Yeah, and that stun and then the Mirana arrow are the only stuns in this game, so Anti-Mage is going to be able to blink around as he pleases, when you're obviously, because this is all pick, and I don't think the other team is probably as put together as this one is, as the Dire team is. Oh man, Ancient Apparition going to pick up at least 1 kill here with that ultimate dot. But he, when you're thinking about this, if you see an Anti-Mage, then you want to pick up stuns. That's kind of the problem with Prophet when you think about it, and one of the reasons he's not as broken as some people are convinced he is you know, it doesn't stop anti-mage. Anti-mage blinks out of it, and it's not ideal. But if you stun anti-mage, well, then at least you got 2 seconds where you can line up another stun, or you can try and just take him out quickly.
I think you confused what I said, because you were talking about stuns. I was talking about Ancient Apparition's ultimate. The frozen effect from that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it clears that off.
Very cool.
Yeah,
well, there you go.
That's why it's so... I mean, yeah, I don't know if actually you can even use it. I don't think you can use it when you're cold feet stunned. But, yeah, when you get that ultimate on it can save your life, potentially. So, just a little tidbit there.
There was one thing I thought I saw earlier where the mirror images cleared that off. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but it probably works for something.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's also based on how skilled you are as a player, of course. I mean, like, you could use it to dodge, like, a hook or a Marana arrow, that kind of thing, if you time it well enough. But, of course, that takes a lot more skill.
That reminds me, there was a Han game, like, this is a while ago now, but there was a Silbear, basically, and he kept recalling his bear in front of him. So he kept, like, people kept trying to shoot, like, Marana arrows and punch hooks at him, and he would just recall the bear, like, right in front of him, and so it would catch all those things. It was the single greatest thing I've ever seen. So yeah, using those images is certainly useful.
Oh wow, this Warlock got caught pretty good. I also want to say, why the heck hasn't Warlock put 1 point in Fatal Bonds? It makes me a sad panda. But he doesn't have much choice coming up. He's going to have to throw a point in there eventually. Stats obviously better than Fatal Bonds, right?
You need that in.
I mean, I guess he's committing to his build either way. So, you know,
yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, there you go, I guess. You can say that.
Besides that, I really do not like it one bit. But
what can you do? Now everybody watching knows to not do that.
Exactly. I mean, he's doing a great job as support, though. I would like to say that. He's buying a lot of counter wards, observer wards. He's going, looks like a mech. I mean, he's doing everything right in that department. So
yeah. You know, this might be the case of, like I was saying earlier when I played Windrunner. Like, I didn't put 1 point in a Windwalk until, like, level 4. And so I know in my head that that's a really stupid thing to do. But, you know, just in the moment it doesn't happen. So I'm going to give this guy the benefit of the doubt. He might not play a ton of Warlock, and he might not really be thinking all this through.
That's true. Wow, he actually just baited 2 of them pretty well and survived. I'm pretty impressed, to say the least.
Yeah, there you go.
So obviously because he had Upheaval. And no other reason.
There you go. Got them so slow.
So you've seen Anti-Mage putting up some good pressure because of that Battle Fury. I mean, Battle Fury is just such a great pushing item in addition to farming. Like, you can clear a creep wave in just a matter of 3 or 4 hits. And I mean, that's just so amazing. And then if he has a Mana Style on top of that, although, knowing my friend, I know he likes to build that... Is it called a Brutalizer? God, I hate it so much that I don't really remember the name. Is that what it is?
I believe so. Let's bring up the handy dandy shop.
I actually did, and I'm looking at the components now. Yes, a Skull Basher, which adds 40 damage, 6 strength, and 25% chance for a melee bash for 1.4 seconds with a 2-second cooldown.
I think I like it if you're fighting like an Enigma or something, or someone that has a channel, but yeah, I mean, it doesn't have any agility on it, so it doesn't really help your damage that much. The strength is health, sure, but
there's better health items, obviously.
Items.
And then, no,
like BKB.
No, none. No, but in regards to what you said about interrupting someone with a channel,
hello?
I would prefer Monkey King Bar. I wanted to call it Savage Maze so bad, but Monkey King Bar, because it has the mini stun component.
Yeah, there you go.
So not only is because it's better, so it adds the damage, attack speed, and then a mini stun. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
I just don't like it really at all. To be honest, I think it's more just a lulz item, just to have fun with.
Yeah, that's probably very true.
But
I see a good Kunkka ult coming in here, followed by a good Ravage. Oh, there's so many AoE ultimates in this game.
Sure.
It's really nice, actually. You have the Ravage, the Warlock Golem summon. Quite pretty.
Yeah.
Going back and forth here for this middle lane. Let's see. So we have a Reaver on Pudge. Good to see him getting a tank item. We're going to turn that into a heart. We have... Who's the one here? Oh, let's see what Marana is building. Ooh, not much. Okay, well, unfortunate for her. Kunkka building a Vanguard, trying to get the sustainability there.
Yeah, he's kind of been struggling. I mean, he had a pretty good farm going, but he didn't do as well in lane as he probably wanted to. And then Enchantress, they're like Team Earn over there. I mean, it's a very good item. It's a very cost-effective item, I guess you could say. It's very cheap, very easy to make. The total price, what's the total price there? It's very cheap. No,
good.
875 gold. So 875 gold to get these charges, which, of course, as you use them, if you put a heal on someone, it's 400 heal, which is just, that's a lot of health. Or 150 damage. I mean, the damage component's really, it's decent early in the game, but as you get later, of course, 150 damage. It's probably not going to net you a kill very often.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I like seeing it early on in a lot of heroes. Obviously, anyone that's like a Night Stalker or Pudge, anyone that ganks a lot and you know you're going to gank a lot, just makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, you keep getting those charges, so it's a nice little heal, and that's, it's always nice. Even in the later parts of the game, if you're trying to keep a push going, blow a couple charges on healing up your buddies, and, it's always going to be somewhat useful.
Absolutely. Wow, that word.
Ancient Apparition doing something very smart. This is what we were talking about. Some heroes, we like to see the Mechanism, the Pipe of Insight. Other intellect heroes, they really like picking up the Scythe of Eyes, which is very smart. That's pretty much how you kill an anti-mage when you don't have a dependable hard carry. Unfortunately, Kunkka's not getting the amount of farm he really wants to be able to hold them back. Mirana, arguable if she's even a hard carry. She isn't getting the farm she needs. And Prophet doesn't have anything either, so they're really going to have to beat this anti-mage by CCing him. And so, since they don't have a whole lot to start with, it's really important to pick up items like Scythe of Eyes, because if you can just keep him chain CC'd, then he's going to be able to be picked off pretty easily.
Yeah, it really is unfortunate, though, how real little they have in the CC department. I mean, Ancient Apparitions takes a little while to proc. Kunkka's also takes a little while to proc, 1.6 seconds to be exact. Nature's Prophet, pretty worthless against anti-mage at least. And then Mirana, you have to line that up. So yeah, they really have nothing reliable in terms of stuns. Except for that now, Sheepstick, of course. That was a good pickup. So yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see Enchantress try and pick something else up like that. Sheepstick. I mean, if you're really hurting for farm, you can even pick up the Yule Scepter, just for the sake of taking him out of the fight long enough that you can pick some other people off, so that when he does come down from the Cyclone, it's a little bit easier to handle the opposing team. But obviously you can't attack him while he's in the Cyclone, so ideally you would like the Sheepstick, but it is a very expensive item, so if you have to go the poor man's route, that's a really good way to go.
I just realized they have 2 global alts on this Radiant team. Not alts, 2 global abilities. I don't know.
Aren't they alts?
No, Furion's isn't. Or Nature's Prophet. Sorry.
Oh, I just thought you were talking about Wrath of Nature.
Yeah, that is. Okay, 3, I guess. 3 global abilities. Wrath of Nature. Oh, shoot. How did I forget he had that move? We just talked about it. But
no.
And also, actually, Mirana has a global alt, technically.
Technically, yes.
Not as effective, of course. But
yeah, you never really think of it like that, but, it's being able to turn everybody invisible. It's kind of, really underrated. As we can see, she only has 1 rank of it, which is probably smart, even though she's level 12. I mean, you only get the fade delay as you increase it and the cooldown reduction, so, picking up the 1 rank is really nice because you can help save people, and it's a good tool for initiation, but not really worth leveling up early on in the game.
Oh, did you see that anti-mage ult?
I did not.
Oh my gosh, that was pretty. Basically, he jumped in, Ancient Apparition was under half health, or under half mana, and under half health, I guess. And Mirana was right next to him with low health, and so he ulted Ancient Apparition and double killed him, because it has that AoE component.
Yeah, that's another thing, when I was talking in the last game about sometimes it helps just read over moves. I've been played Dota 1, played Han, where you had Mage Vein. It was essentially the same thing. And you never really think about the fact that ultimate is AoE. So even though you might have a good target that's off by himself that you can just easily pick up a kill, keep in mind that's an AoE, so if you direct it at somebody else, you're going to do potentially more damage by casting it on a group of people instead of just picking off the one person.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, it's most effective against an intellect hero who has that huge mana pool. because it does damage based on how much mana they are missing. Zeus is obviously going to get just rolled here. GG. Actually, kind of, I don't know if I'm kind of intrigued. He's been putting points back and forth in between Static Field and Arc Lightning rather than just deciding which one he wants to max. You don't see that
I don't
often.
like that at all. No. Like I said, competitively, you see Lightning Bolt and Static Field leveled up, and you stick with the one rank of Arc Lightning. I think that's really what I would like to see. Just in general, I don't really see the point in leveling Arc Lightning. I mean, it does. I mean, as you max it up, you get 15 damage. You do get increased jumps, but even when you factor that in, okay, you get 2 more jumps for the first couple levels. When you go from 3 points to 4 points, you get 6 more jumps. But for those early levels, you're getting an increase of 30 damage.
And then also throw it in there, how often are you going to hit 15 creeps with your Arc?
That as well, yeah.
I mean,
but yeah, you think about it, it's the difference between 2% of their health or 30 damage. So there is no... Yeah, if you really want to, just punch that into your calculator, it will give you the time to do it. But there really isn't a situation where I can see where you would want Arc Lightning over Static Field.
No, I'm definitely in complete agreement. I mean, just also the fact that his, the Static Fields works with all his spells compared to Arc Lightning just on that. I mean, it is a short cooldown, I guess. It's 2 seconds. But, if he ultimates near someone, then Lightning Bolts, and then Arc Lightnings, all 3 of those are affected by Static Field. Whereas, whereas Arc Lightning, it only scales just for that spell.
Yep, so poo-poo to Mr. Orange in this for those decisions, but it's okay. Everybody gets one.
That's right.
Haters gonna hate for sure. Oh, we do see that Andy Mage does pick up the Mana Styles. Get wrecked. Call that wrong. And he also finishes the BKB, which is very nice now, so that, decisive eyes on each apparition.
He knows he's being watched, so he's being not a troll.
He trolls only when we play with him, as it turns out.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is. Not like it matters in this game. He's just so far ahead.
No, yeah, and he's making good, smart decisions to make sure they don't, wind up losing it later on in the game. See, Nature's Prophet actually makes an Oblivion Staff, so I guess he wants to go Orchid Malevolence. Silence is actually really good against Anti-Mage, so that's a pretty intelligent decision. And a lot of these heroes, like you think of Zeus, Pudge, you get them silenced, and then they're kind of just they run around in circles for 2 or 3 seconds until the silence comes off, and then they get back to doing useful things.
Yes. No. What I wanted to say, though, which is completely unrelated totally, is I would like to see a Vladimir's offering on, Tidehunter or Pudge. And the reason being is, I mean, like I said, at this point, okay, it doesn't matter as much because Anti-Mage is just so unstoppable. But if this was, a closer game, he can benefit so much from that lifesteal because he attacks incredibly fast. It gives that damage bonus aura as well. It really does provide a lot for a team. And they have 3 melee heroes. I mean, yeah, sure, Pudge, and they don't auto-attack as much or whatever, but they still do at the end of the day. And it's going to help your team out a lot. So I don't know. And you never really want to build that on your hard carry because it's a waste of a slide. You'd rather have, a nice damage or survivability edge instead. So,
yeah, definitely. And we can see the AoE damage from Anti-Mage's ulti doing a lot of work there. Dropping it on Kunkka, I believe, and also did a large amount of damage to Nature's Prophet, going to make him pretty easy to pick off here. The line of trees doing what they can to save him, and as we see, as soon as it comes up, Anti-Mage just blinks out, and it's not a thing.
Well, it was the thing. But...
It was a thing of a thing. But not thingy enough, unfortunately.
Thing indeed. I actually was going to say he's really overextended there. I mean, you did have the Black King bar up, but it ended towards the end. And if they could somehow change just a few CCs there, they probably could have killed him, actually, because he was at about half health at that point. But, no, he managed to get out of there just fine. They're going to have no problem pushing this tower, I would have to imagine.
Yeah, looks like they probably will get this bottom lane, actually. Still 15 seconds before anybody on the Radiant team reses. I think we actually did a pretty decent job going over just about everybody this game. Keeping in mind what they do.
Essentially. I think we did a I was going to say fantabulous. That's kind of not the way I like to speak.
Fantabulous.
But yeah, overall, great job. Obviously, if you were on the Radiant team for this game, ways you maybe could have had a better time in this game. And knowing, of course, you're going up against an anti-mage, and he's in the long lane. Like, that right there says to me, okay, we have to punish him for being in this long lane. We have to gank him a lot, and we just have to set up kills on him. Because at the end of the day, as you saw, is your game freezing? Oh, mine just really lagged hard.
Yeah, unfortunately, Dota's been lagging quite a bit today. But what can he do?
But as I was saying, punish him for being in that long lane, and with a Warlock nonetheless as a support, he doesn't have any kind of CC to save him or anything. All he has is like the hot. So
yeah, well, there really isn't a lot of CC here on either side. That's kind of one of the problems with there not being captain's mode in all pick. You can't really do much to stop an anti-mage, especially if he gets picked late. Like if someone basically Bonk did here, he waited till there was 2 seconds left and he picks anti-mage, and after the whole other side had been picked, and there really weren't a lot of reliable stuns. So yeah, you're right. You need to stop anti-mage. You need to punish him for being in that long lane, but unfortunately, there really weren't the stuns on the opposing team to really do that.
So you wanna that's game right there, of course. So, yeah, great job there by our friends on the Dire side. They didn't troll as hard this game. Did a really good job at controlling their lanes, getting the farm, and then pushing, and overall just a fantastic job. So, any closing thoughts?
Not a single one. Thanks for joining us, everybody, on our third Brocast Breakdown. Please feel free to give any nice criticism, comment, critique, love letters. We accept them all.
Thanks. On the Reddit, we're going to be posting this on the Reddit. So yeah, and so check out our YouTube, check out our own.tv channel. Give us some nice subscriptions, some nice thumbs up, or feedback. If you didn't like something, if BDLM just put you to sleep, just anything, let us know. Anyways, yeah, have a great night, guys.